Alrighty, happy Wednesday the 8th. I recorded a different workout this morning, so you guys will have choices on Friday. We'll have either what we did on Monday, Labor Day, which my mom did, a good, hard, challenging, and basic workout. You got today's workout, which you two ladies will have done, and then I'll have the next part of our workouts. Anyhow, lots of workouts to choose from, but Friday is recorded no matter what time you're going to do it at. We do need to have a quick but simple warm-up circuit, and part of it's based on whether people did it on Monday, and part of it's based on people not doing it. But I want to get warmed up because we have a posterior hip glute day with pushing and pulling. It's not the normal hip day, but we do have exertion or cardio in it as well, so I want to make sure your bodies are ready. So it's a brief warm-up. And I know you might have done some obliques on Monday, right, Mom? You've got your 25 right obliques. You could do any obliques, ground obliques, standing obliques. If you're at the gym, you've got your hyperextension obliques. You've got your rotation obliques. 25 right. Then you're going to do 20 on your mobilities. Standing scissors or standing runners or jack lanes. Then you're going to do 25 left. And then you're going to do 25 on your agility or plyometrics, like jump, squat, split, jumps, burpees, high knees, butt kicks, jumping jacks. These should all sound familiar. But I only want 2 rounds. It's simple. Because Monday you might have done 5 obliques, you might have not done 5 obliques. And if you don't do that workout, all good. The warm-up workout circuit per se, 25 right obliques, 20 on your mobility, standing scissors, standing runners, jack lanes, 25 left obliques, and again you can do any obliques, and then 20 on your agility, high knees or plyometrics, high knees, butt kicks, jumping jacks, split jumps, bench taps, mountain climb. 2 rounds. It's 180 total movements. Surprise, very common number. 25 right oblique, 20 mobility, 25 left oblique, 20 agility or plyometric, times 2. That way you're warm, you're loose, you're ready, you're focused. We have a lot of work to do. If you have ankle weights on after your 2-round warm-up, put them on, and I would like you to leave them on today. However, we might have to adjust based on the tools you have. One more time. 25 right oblique, 20 mobility, 25 left oblique, 20 agility or plyometrics, times 2. I saw you running, right? Were you here running? You look a little busy. And you have cardio and you work out if you want. There's cardio and work out if you want. It's not that this warm-up is faster per se, 180 total movements. It's that for the most part, obliques aren't the biggest motions sometimes. Rotational obliques would be. Hyperextension is all about a position. Standing loaded is very common. Being on the ground and getting on and off the ground is a factor, so it's potentially quicker because of the oblique exercise. And of course, mobility, not hard, but big and long. And agility plyometrics are shorter, sweeter, quicker, powerful. 25 right oblique, 20 mobility, 25 left oblique, 20 agility or plyometrics, times 2. It's just going to feel a little bit quicker than how we normally get to 180 total movements. But when you get done, put on ankle weights if you have ankle weights. If you don't have ankle weights, that's okay. And the biggest difference between being at home and at the gym is all of the tools we have. And if you're craving a little cardiovascular exercise, we've kind of shifted to that. If you have tools, then you don't have to worry about that word exertion as much. Anyhow, you want to get your ankle weights on if you have them. And I know the recorded version kind of shows where I'm at. I got my mat, I got my ankle weights, I've got plates, and I've got dumbbells. So for people that are doing this recorded at the gym, set up your space. It's just going to make your life easier. Today, we are not doing all of our hips. We're only doing our posterior hips and glutes. Okay? Your choices, and I'll give you numbers in a minute. Your choices are either donkey kicks, and the words of up and back are running through your head. Donkey kicks is a choice. Fire hydrants is a choice, and the word is out. Single lateral leg lifts is a choice, and the word is up. I don't really want a single leg hip bridge because that's a little more hamstrings, core, and glutes versus the posterior hips and glutes. But I will put in a single leg hip bridge if that makes you feel good. Your posterior hip is either donkey kicks, fire hydrants, single lateral leg lifts, and I'll asterisk single leg hip bridges. I'm going to give you the rhythm to today, and it's not magical. If you go out of order, that's okay, but there's 4 main parts, and then there's the turn the dial up part. After your right posterior hip, I want you to push. You can either do push-ups, you can do chest presses, you can do shoulder presses, you can do triceps. After your left posterior hip, you're going to pull either lat pullovers, chest flies, upright rows, or biceps. And that's for tools and proximity. Okay? I'm going to give you the numbers in a second. But if you go out of order, that's okay. Just make sure those 4 things happen. But then I have to give you more information. Your hips are eventually 30 down by 5. 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Eventually. You're pushing and pulling, you always have a rep range of 10 to 15. Always 10 to 15. Maybe it's always 15 and maybe it's not. Round 1, 30 right posterior hip glute, 10 to 15 pushes, 30 left posterior hip glute, 10 to 15 pulling, and then I'll run back over here and talk to you about your other thing. If you go out of order, that's okay. Just make sure all 4 things happen. 30 right posterior hip glute, donkey kick, fire hydrant, single lateral raise. 10 to 15 pushes, chest, shoulders, triceps, whatever you want. 30 left posterior hip glute. You've got your 10 to 15 pulling, lat pullovers, chest flies, upright rows, bicep curls, and that's all based on tools and proximity. We'll then talk about exertion versus cardio. There's a lot. You can leave at any time, nothing's going to balance you, but at the halfway point, you've really done half of the lifting, but it's 2/3 of the duration, because the second half is way shorter. But I'll see you now. This is going to be 15, 10, 5, eventually 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. I'll have you start with 12 in a second. Round 1 is 18 front raises. Later on is different. Later on is different. So it sounds similar, different. Today I want to control the front. Stand and walk. Measures. Fine. Underneath the ball. That's a measure. It could be shorter than videos, right? I'll lap around slowly. A quarter-mile treadmill. A half-mile run. You got challenges on your card. Round 1. 12 short rests. Fine. You start. 12 to 15. 12 short rests. 12 short rests. You got your 15 front raises. And you have your feet or on a triple or on a bump. Now remember, there's going to be subtle changes, but once you get into the first couple rounds, it's going to make a lot of sense. It'll sound very similar, but it will be different. 12s or 15s. I know I'm giving you a lot. Alrighty, Artie's here. She's so pumped. She's ready. Round 1 was 30 right hip glute, 10 to 15 push, 30 left hip glute, 10 to 15 pulling, and you stop. If you're wearing ankle weights, I would like you to keep them on just for sheer efficiency. So when I give you the exertions, we've got rope slams, ball slams, sledgehammers, right? We have those tools. At home, you might not have those tools, so it's hard and maybe unsafe to do jump, squat, split jumps, and burpees and those things. So I'm going to let you do abs core like Russian twists and windshield wipers and scissors and runners and swimmers, or cardio. At the end of round 1, you're either going to do 200 exertions, oh boy, or 5 minutes of cardio. If you have a bike, ankle weights are still safe. I wouldn't recommend you always doing it, but they're safe to be on. If you have an elliptical or an erg or an arc trainer, ankle weights are safe. Again, I don't want you to always do this. It's just for efficiency. If you take off your ankle weights and do 200 exertions, awesome. You take off your ankle weights and do 200 exertions. Round 1 finishes with either 5 minutes of cardio, that's a long time, or 200 exertions. Now, I want you to go do your thing. You know you're going to hear more. But when you get back, your hips are a little bit less, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Your upper body is always 10 to 15 reps. Your cardio is either 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 minutes, or 200, 160, 120, 80, and 40 on your exertions. It's a lot. This is the workout. It is huge. It is different. It's the opposite. It's similar to what we did on Monday. Again, I hope you're off doing your thing. Recorded version. Keep this thing playing. I'm going to come back through, kind of give you the rhythm of the workout. Ladies, you can always ask questions. You have your 30 right hip, your 10 to 15 push, your 30 left hip, your 10 to 15 pulling. If you ever go out of order, that's okay. Just make sure all 4 things happen. Your hips are going to go down by 5 eventually. At the end of round 1, 5 minutes of cardio or 200 exertions. Yowzers. Round 2 will be 25 right hip glute, 10 to 15 push, 25 left hip glute, 10 to 15 pulling, and then you'll do 4 minutes of cardio or 160 exertions. This is huge. Leave your ankle weights on for efficiency. However, if you need to take them off for your exertions, take them off. might be a challenge to do a couple times a day. We're going to have alternating legs. The other day we did do alternating legs. We're going to have alternating legs forward, so it is similar. We'll have a 10 push, it's a little less. We have a 15 lateral raise, so it's a little bit different. And then 40 total alternating legs. And you run, and you step up, and you step like it. But already 40 total is 20 each leg, so you can also do 20 each leg. Split squats, step ups, lunges, sit like deadlifts, but I do want body weight, light weight to start. Maybe it's heavier, maybe not. Yeah, 12, 10, 6, 4, 2. I'm going to shake myself ones, 15 lateral weights, and 40 total alternating legs. Those 40 total is 20 each side. Mix them up as you wish. Alrighty, ladies, again, you might still be in that sucker. You might be moving on. Your hips eventually go down. 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Round 1 was long. High reps, you're learning. Round 2 is still long. You're still making sure everything's working properly. If you ever go out of order, that's okay. Just get the 4 main parts done. Round 2, 25 right posterior hip glute, 10 to 15 pushes, chest, shoulders, triceps. 25 left posterior hip glute, 10 to 15 pulling, lat pullovers, chest flies, upright rows, and biceps. And then you'll either do 4 minutes of cardio or 160 exertions. I know what time it is. Rounds 1 and 2 take a long time. And then it just starts creeping down. What I don't want you to do is go fast. I want lots of good motion. You've got plenty of hips, glutes, really good for your back and your legs. You've got plenty of upper body pushing and pulling. You have either plenty of exertions or you have plenty of cardio coming your way. Again, if you're at the gym, I hope you created your space and you started doing this stuff before you just got started, right? Round 2, 25 right posterior hip glutes. Donkey kicks, fire hydrants, lateral raises, 10 to 15 push, 25 left posterior hip glute, 10 to 15 pulling, either 4 minutes of cardio or 160 exertions. The attempt is you keep your ankle weights on just for efficiency. But if you take them off, awesome, put them back on. If you don't have ankle weights, awesome. It's great for your posterior hip glute muscles, and it's great for your hips and your lower spine mobility. checking on you ladies just so you know I'm here. Remember, we're gonna have people in different spots, live and recorded. If you ever need to push pause, push pause. Now, I'm not saying you should be on round 2 or done with round 2. I just know who's on my phone call here. So make sure the motions are big, make sure the motions are slow, make sure you're steady, make sure you're focused. If you're moving in and out of positions, potentially you can stay on the ground for a lot of it as you do your things. If you're keeping those ankle weights on, you don't really have any tools for exertion or cardio, I don't mind doing scissors, runners, swimmers, and windshield wipers, and Russian twist, and iso penguins, and rotational planks. That's more of an ab core thing, which you don't have any formally to do today. You have that oblique body warm up to get things going. We have our hips and our pushing and our pulling and our exertion or cardio. I don't want to confuse you. That's why I let you know that's an option of moving your body, but those would be, we're going to put that in the exertion. We would just be abs core on the exertion. So round 2, 25 right posterior hip glute, 10 to 15 pushing, 25 left posterior hip glute, 10 to 15 pulling, and then either 4 minutes of cardio or 160 exertions. And that's a big word: rope slam, ball slam, sledgehammer. You got ankle weights on, so doing jump squats and split jumps and burpees and high knees and butt kicks are harder. So if you want to mix in abs core, scissors, runners, swimmers, windshield wipers are harder with your ankle weights on. Russian twist, iso penguins, rotational planks are less hard with ankle weights on. But round 2 is 4 minutes of cardio or 160 exertions. So I hope you're there somewhere. Round 1 and 2 are very long. It'll slowly go down. You like it all? Okay. Stretch, this is a part of the challenge, that's okay too. Areas of power on 2 minutes. Alright, again ladies, you might be a little bit ahead of me, but if you ever get lost, just remember the hips eventually go down. Round 3 is 20 right posterior hip glutes, 10 to 15 pushing, 20 left posterior hip glute, 10 to 15 pulling. I saw it all day long at the gym. Everybody's going to go out of order one time, and that's okay as long as all 4 things happen. So you do right hip, left hip, pushing and pulling. Round 3 is 20 on your hips, glutes. Round 3 is also 3 minutes of cardio or 120 exertion. We also threw in abs core as that exertion, Russian twist, windshield wipers. If you have ankle weights on, that'll be harder. Rotational planks, iso penguins. But again, jump squats are hard, doable, rope slam, ball slam, sledgehammer, something challenging. Round 3, 20 right posterior hip glutes, 10 to 15 push, 20 left, 10 to 15 pull, 3 minutes of cardio or 120 exertions. My personal opinion, you're either getting close to starting that, potentially on the recorded, depends on your tools. And then you'll be starting it very soon. Walking through 20 right posterior hip glutes, 10 to 15 push-ups, chest press, shoulder press, triceps, dips, kickbacks, overhead, skull crushers, narrow push-ups. But again, you're thinking tools and proximity. Depends on where you're at and what you're doing. 20 on the left posterior hip, 10 to 15 pulling, lat pullovers, chest flies, upright rows, bicep curls, tools and proximity. 3 minutes of cardio or 120 exertions. We're trying to leave those ankle weights on just for efficiency. I'm not trying to make it any harder. None of it makes it harder. Riding a bike, you're on the elliptical, you're on the erg, you're on the arc. At the gym, we have upper body exertion tools. I threw out the abs core situation, rotational planks, Russian twists, iso penguin. Yeah, you can do scissors and runners. It's going to crank up the anterior hips though. Not a bad thing. I like it, ladies. Now, I don't expect you to be done at round 3. If you are, awesome. If you're already there, sweet. If you're not there, good. Like, take your time. Round 4 will be 15 right posterior hip glute, 10 to 15 push, 15 left posterior hip glute, 10 to 15 pulling. Right, we're getting down there finally. And then it's either 2 minutes of cardio or 80 on your exertion. So we're finally getting down there. Again, I don't expect you to be there. That's all based on tools and proximity and exercises that you chose and getting up and down and all those types of things. Round 4, 15 right posterior hip glutes, 10 to 15 push, 15 left posterior hip glute, 10 to 15 pulling, and then either 2 minutes of cardio or 80 on your exertion, which wears a lot of hats today. world. And just walking through, making sure you guys are rocking and rolling. Remember, everybody has different paces and places and stuff and things and choices. Round 4, 15 on your right posterior hip glutes. 10 to 15 push. Slow, steady, heavy, thorough. Position changes. 15 on your left posterior hip glutes. 10 to 15 pulling. A lot of positions and movement changes. 2 minutes of cardio or 80 on your exertion. My opinion, you're either close to it, you're in it somewhere, hopefully you're not done with it, and that's just your time under tension, enjoying the moment. Your biceps or replacing your shoulder presses is not magical. We had 3 different movements for shoulders earlier where the changes out more biceps. Oh, 6, 4, 2, 8. So, Taylor's come up with the 15 row back down 1 and 15 on front down 2. And those 2 eventually 15 row exercises. It's either your third cardio challenge or a stretch meet. When we use the legs, it's less. We usually have support less. We got half that height, that round loading. Those are all hovering around 2 to 2 minutes, give or take. Alrighty, I know we're getting there. Do not be discouraged if you're not even close. It's okay. You can push pause, you can push fast forward, rewind, mute, all those things. Round 5, you've got your 10 right hip glute, you've got your 10 to 15 push, you've got your 10 left hip glute, your 10 to 15 pulling. Remember, if you do the right hip, the left hip, and the push and the pull, I still get what I want. So if your rhythm accidentally changes, that's okay. Or the order changes, that's okay. Round 5 is the last round with your cardio or exertion. There is numerically 1 more round to go, and I know it seems tedious to only do the 5 on the hips. Anyhow, round 5, 10 right posterior hip glute, 10 to 15 push, 10 left posterior hip glute, 10 to 15 pulling, 1 minute cardio or 40 on your exertions, and then all you have is that 1 more piece to the puzzle with your 5 on your hip glutes and your 10, 15 on the pushing and pulling. Remember, I don't mind a little order change as long as it all happens. You have that oblique movement warm-up, and if you have time at the end, it's okay to stretch. In fact, today would be a great day to stretch, foam roll, elevate your legs, butt against the wall, legs in the air. Would be a great day to do those things. Again, I'm not saying you're there or you're done, but workouts that end a little bit sooner than normal or other workouts, you might as well spend that 3 to 5 minutes stretching, elevating, foam rolling, relaxing and being mindful. Round 5, 10 right posterior hip glute, 10 to 15 push, 10 left posterior hip glute, 10 to 15 pulling, 1 minute cardio or 40 on your exertions. And then you only have 1 more round to go on the hips, glutes, pushing and pulling. Half mile? No, pedal away as you want. higher resistance and pace, half mile, half spare. Believe it or not, low resistance, which is where you're at, the half miles will take a lot longer. You're literally pedaling in like water. So if you go to like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 resistance, you will go further faster. Well, it's fact. But when you have no resistance, you're not going to go anywhere. You're just going to pedal in the water. So having some resistance is always good. Well, they're all supposed to be. Huh? .5, half mile. But it's all resistance and speed. You put them together. Like you had a 10, like riding a bike is one thing. Riding a 10 speed or 15 speed bike, if you have the same revolutions, 80 revolutions a minute, whatever the number is, you will go further, faster with more resistance. However, if that more resistance slows you down, you won't go further faster. Round 5, right? You guys are rocking and rolling. You got your 10 right posterior hip glutes, the 10 to 15 push, the 10 left posterior hip glutes, the 10 to 15 pulling. You have the 1 minute cardio or 40 exertions, and then you have the one more round of your posterior hip glute at 5 with the 10 to 15 push and pull. All right, you got the 10 bicep. You got the 15 bar in front triceps, and you have your 20 legs, or 10 each leg. So you're getting down there. Remember, you can always stretch for a minute or two. As you guys remember, ladies, right, when you get done, if you have time, stretch, elevate, foam roll. Don't just push the off button and go sit in your chair. This is the best time to lengthen those muscles, relax those tight muscles, roll out those knotted muscles. It's the best time to increase your blood flow is stretching. It's the best time to hydrate. It's the best time to nourish. And unfortunately, probably 90% of people don't utilize the best time to put their body back together is right after a workout. So maximize that time. Your last part of the day, remember, we're going to have recording workouts on your Friday workout, so be ready for that and have a lot of fun. What we did on Monday was hard, tough, challenging. That will hopefully become available. It's got to get it recorded. It was too busy to record on Monday. You have today, you're done with that. You'll see that for some people as an option. And you'll have another workout to choose from. Anyhow, when you get done, stretch, elevate, hydrate, focus, breathe, pat yourself on the back. Maximize the best time to put your body back together is right after a workout. Last time you hear your numbers, round 5 is 10 posterior hips, the 10 to 15 on the pushing and the pulling, the 1 minute cardio or 40 exertions, and the last part is 5 on the posterior hip glutes with a 10 to 15 pushing and pulling, and then you're all done.